Hey people, it's Ed with Free Circle. Hope you're having a good Friday morning. It's a Free Circle Friday, and of course that's always frantic. Get everything finished up for the weekend. Big news. Kind of exciting for the podcast world today. And very, very interesting. Out of Boston, Massachusetts, and Mountain View, California, Google is teamed up with PRX. PRX is a leading media company with a deep commitment to podcast training, education, and audio technology to develop and run the Google Podcast Creator Program. Google has launched the Google Podcast Creator Program. That is huge, people. I was saying just a few weeks ago about this big fight for the podcast industry. And iTunes keeps choosing to restrict and try to control creator content. And we're seeing some heavy things come down. So you got to understand this move by Google to team up with PRX is huge. They're using seed money to lower the barriers to podcasting through education and information sharing. As they work to bring hundreds of millions more listeners into the fold, they want to play a role to ensure content is available for all types of global audiences. PRX has a proven track record of mentorship and education, and we couldn't be more excited to work with them as our lead partner. That's huge. See, these collaborations from big names like that, and I commend Google for this. This is huge to help the little guy and train them. And they're giving you an opportunity to sign up for this training. And you can go to googlecp.prx.org. And you can find out more about that. Applications are live until 11:59 Eastern Time on Sunday, November 18th. So you can go over to that googlecp.prx.org and find out more information on how to apply. This is exciting. So, excuse me, the PRX has been a pioneer in training and education in the podcast space. PRX launched its Podcast Garage, a community-based podcasting studio and classroom in Boston in 2016. They have plans to expand to Washington, D.C. in 2019. In addition, PRX hosted Radiotopia's PodQuest, an open call for diverse talent, new voices, and sustainable podcast ideas, which resulted in production of the critically acclaimed show Ear Hustle. With the support from Corporation for Public Broadcasting, PRX also introduced Project, a podcast development boot camp for public radio stations. So that's very interesting. Even radio stations are getting into the podcasting world. You're seeing big names like talk show host Glenn Beck, Sean Hannity, Rush Limbaugh. There's a bunch of them out there. So the excitement in the podcast industry is growing. Big companies with the backing, they're putting up seed money to produce and educate and train podcasters. And with the launch of Google's recent podcast player, it's exciting. So I don't know about you, but Spotify and Google are really stepping up in the podcast industry. And I see this backlash occurring with Apple. And Apple is making a big mistake by restricting content. The metadata, the trying to get on top with your descriptions and your titles. Well, that's all part of the creative content. That's what grabs people and lures them in. I can understand, because I don't like a title that does not fit the content. However, I want to make the choice if I want to listen to the content based on their grab title. I don't want a company to make that decision for me. That's restrictive flow of free information, and it's critical to have a free-flowing information. And when companies are trying to block that creativity, it's not a good thing. And I just wish Apple would turn themselves around and start encouraging the free flow of information, the creator. Back that creator, because that's what gives you thought. That renews the patterns of thought in the world. And if you're going to isolate and try to control the content, that's not going to be a very fair platform to host your show on. So, I don't know. I tend to back Google. I think they're doing a wonderful job. It was easy to get on Google Podcast. It was easy to get on Spotify, and yet really terrible to get your podcast on iTunes. A lot of people disagree with me. That's all right. However, I see a trend building, and I think Google, especially Google, with this bold move, partnering up, you're going to see a big change in how people are doing things, how they set their podcast up, where they host their podcast. It's an incredible world of creativity out there, and how you get your content out to the world really matters. And I've been trying to develop a skill, a technique, and understand how to get a message out. And podcasting has emboldened me to understand the underlying cause why I have been down. And it's a form of free expression. It relieves stress, and it will help reduce troubles in the world. Excuse me. So if we can enhance creativity, enhance learning, develop social communication skills, and learn to produce effective content that will better the educational value of content that is produced. Because I see content out there that really has no meaning and no purpose, and there's no real need to connect with people. They want to get their message out and connect with the dollar. That's fine. I'm not knocking on your ability to grow substantially in your income. However, I think we need to be open and free with our creativity, and we need more companies doing what Google is doing. And they're actually going to put seed money towards this. And I really encourage you to look at this program. It is very, very well thought of. It's going to, or it hopes to, remove barriers to podcasting, increase the diversity of voices in the industry, and to make sure content is available for all audiences. The Google Podcast Creator Program focuses on 3 pillars: empowering and training underrepresented voices, educating a global community with free tools, and showcasing the participants' work as a model for others. That's outstanding. This is what is going to change the world. Bold moves to embolden others. Congratulations on this connection that was made, this partnership. Google and PRX, they're coming together to help change and develop the world in a better way. I find good structure in that. And the first round kicks off January of 2019. So applications are live until 11:59 Eastern on Sunday, November 18th. Get over there, check it out. I've been telling you, get a podcast. Now I'm telling you, go apply to learn from the best in the industry at PRX with partnership with Google. Awesome. And I like the collaboration going on and the bold move to pick people up that are the little voice. Give them the talents, and it will embolden a whole new generation of speakers from all walks of life. And that's what we need to do. We need to change people $1 at a time, one person at a time. That's what Free Circle touts, people helping people. I thank you, both Google and PRX, for that bold move. Wonderful news out of Podnews this morning. Bold move. Go check it out. Look it up. And start a podcast. Start a dialogue. This wonderful platform that I am currently broadcasting from, getdialogue.am, this is a tool that is structured to get people talking, to develop skills, interaction, a friendly environment, one that people can communicate. The web has been so toxic, and I find that here on Dialogue, you're not finding as much of that toxic environment. You control the atmosphere yourself. You control who comes on your show. And they're implementing more and more changes. That's Get Dialogue, GETDIALOG.am. If you're not listening to me on Dialogue, come on over and check us out. We're here pretty much every day except Saturday. It's got a nice chat room, and you can jump right into the conversation and get your voice online with me. I'll have a conversation with you. Let's talk. So wherever you're hearing this dialogue from, it's generated and courtesy of Dialogue. That's getdialogue.am. Come on over and join us. We'd love to have you in the chat room, or just push the little button. It says join the dialogue, and you can jump in. When I unmute you, you can talk right with me. Come on over and check it out. I want to thank Dialogue for providing us with the platform. And as always, have a good Friday. I'll be on one more time this afternoon. And it's Ed, Free Circle, out.